Thinking of hosting a destination wedding and have a lot of questions? Hold on, in this video we'll talk about FAQs between you as well as your guests. Hey, this is Jack with Vacationese. As you can see, I'm not in my office, but I am in Cancun. You can see the beautiful beach behind me. What a great view. Anyway, this week I want to talk to you about FAQs, frequently asked questions we get if you're thinking of planning a destination wedding. And do me a favor and subscribe to my videos. As you know, I do post new videos every Tuesday. So these are some of the questions over the years I've received from clients or prospective clients, or even brides, grooms, parents, and guests attending wedding. So let's start with this list. The first one is, can I get free stuff if I have a destination wedding? Well, that's a great question, and I always want to understand what it is that you're looking for as free stuff. So in some cases, yes, the resorts, if you have a room block and a specific wedding package, will give you free stuff. Most of the time, the free stuff is typically based upon the number of rooms that you and your guests book at the resort. So as an example, sometimes you'll see free receptions, free rooms for the bride and groom, upgraded rooms for the bride and groom. You'll see maybe a free cocktail party. Now this free stuff, as people call it, varies by resort. It can vary by the package as well as the number of rooms. But it is easy to get free stuff if you have a large group of at least 25 rooms of guests attending your destination wedding. I'd say it's really important that you have this discussion with your travel professional when you're planning your destination wedding and ask them exactly what kind of free stuff they think they can get you based upon the information you provide them for your destination wedding. Now, another question I get a lot is, hey Jack, where's the best place for my destination wedding? I'm like, that's a great question. But before I can answer that question, I need to ask you some questions. So some of the questions I would typically ask to define where the best place to have a destination is: where are your guests coming from? What type of budget do you have? Where are you flying from? What kind of vibe are you looking for? Is this what you're looking for? The beach? Or are you looking for more tropical, like that? So there's a lot of questions before I can say what the best place is. I would say the majority of our weddings, Vacationese weddings, are beach, sun, and fun weddings. Most people want exactly this: the background, white sand beach, turquoise water. But again, I have to know from you what it is you're looking for so that I can better answer what is the best place for your destination wedding. Another question I get a lot is it actually cheaper to have a destination wedding or a wedding at home? Good question. I would say easy answer is yes. It is typically less expensive to have a destination wedding than it is a wedding at home. Now, why do I say that? So there's a couple things. One is you're typically going to have less people attend your destination wedding than if you had a wedding at home. Why do I say that? Because it is so easy if you have a wedding at home and all people have to do is drive to the resort or the hotel or the church that you're having your wedding at. There's really no big financial commitment on their behalf. But in terms of if you're having a wedding here, someplace like this in Mexico, which is where I am, or a beach destination or France or wherever it is, then those guests that you invite really have to decide they're going to take 4, 5, 6 days out of their schedule, book it as a vacation, spend a couple $1,000s. So what we see is typically about 50% of people you invite to your wedding will attend your destination wedding. So because the guest list drops, the expenses drop. Now, outside of your guest list dropping, I would say that when I look at Mexico, the Dominican Republic, Jamaica, a lot of the Caribbean sun and fun locations, the cost to have a wedding here is definitely less than having it in a big city in the US. Now, if you start looking at other capitals like Madrid or say Paris or in the UK or Hawaii, then I have a feeling the pricing you're going to find in those places is going to be very similar to the price that you would pay at home if you're in a big city in the USA. Another great question I get is, who pays for a destination wedding? Now, we get this question for both brides, grooms, guests, and families. So there are really two expenses you have with a destination wedding. There's the expense of staying at the resort and the expense of throwing the party. So I would say 99.999% of the times, the family or the host is who's paying for the party, the private events, the ceremony, just like you would do at home. Now, in terms of the cost of coming to a resort or a destination like this, I would say, again, 90% of the time, the majority of your guests are paying for themselves as that they would be going on a vacation. Periodically, with every wedding, we do have a certain number of rooms that a bride and groom or a family will say, well, I'm paying for those people. But I would say the majority of time, the guests are paying for themselves to attend. Now, here's the thing. When you do a destination wedding at a resort, you're typically going to get a room block. And part of that room block will be discounted rates for everybody attending, including your guests. So that at the end of the day, your guests are going to go on a vacation, attend your destination wedding, and they will pay, but you will pay for them to attend your various events, your reception, your parties, your ceremonies, whatever it is. Now, talking events, we get questions about what type of events do you typically have at a destination wedding? Well, again, most of our weddings are sun and fun beach weddings like you see behind me. So typically what we see is clients will have a welcome party, maybe the first or second night of everybody arriving. Depending upon the vibe you want, that can be a fun in the sun, feet in the sand party. It could be a bonfire. It could be a formal dance party. We typically will see a rehearsal dinner or party for a small group, maybe the wedding party. Then we're going to see a ceremony. And then typically everybody will have a reception just like at home with a DJ, an open bar, a big dinner, and a whole lot of fun. So typically we'll see an event that's 4 nights, and you'll have 2 nights of private events for your guests. Let your guests enjoy themselves at the resort the other 2 nights, but that's our typical flow of events. And when you look at the wedding packages at the resort, most of them will also have wedding packages based upon having 2 or 3 private events for your destination wedding. Now, many people ask me, Jack, do I have to be married at the beach? Well, that's beautiful, isn't it? But the reality is every resort will have multiple destinations or locations within the resort to be married at. So if we look over here, as you can see, here is a grass area. Now you can be married here. Now look at the view though. Stand on the grass, the ocean in the background. Other resorts have rooftops you can be married at. Some resorts have gazebos, some have piers, but every resort will have different venues for each of your events. So what's really cool, if you have your wedding here, getting married looking out at the beach, and you want to have your reception down on the beach with that water in the background, you can do that. Just walk on down. As you can see, there's a pathway down here, and it'll go right down to the beach. So the nice thing is in throwing a destination wedding, whatever kind of vibe you're looking for, a nice sunset as you can see, or a turquoise ocean, we can find a resort that'll be perfect so that you don't have to be married on the beach. You can be married on a rooftop. Whatever it is you dream of, it's our job as your travel professional that helps you find the resort to host your wedding, to find you the perfect resort with the venues that you're looking for. Now, another really important question I get is, should I do this on my own? Should I just call the hotel? How should I book this destination wedding? Okay, this is an easy one for me. Okay, you ready? Contact someone like us at Vacationies. There are travel professionals that focus their business on planning destination weddings. We know the resorts that have this, the white sand beautiful beaches. We know the resorts that have this, sunsets in the background with a jungle behind them. We know the resorts that are party resorts. We know how to get extra free stuff for you. We can help negotiate your room blocks. We help with your guests so they're not driving you crazy. So the key is never, never, never call the resort directly. Work with a travel professional that focuses on destination weddings. And even further, I always tell people, if you can find a small company like us, Vacationies, I think when you're working with a family run or a small company, you're going to get really taken care of. We'll care more about doing everything on a personalized basis for you. But the key is, do not try to DIY your destination wedding. I think you want to work with an expert. Yes, we may charge some fees, but at the end of the day, this is something you're only doing once in a lifetime, and you want to make sure you do it right. So hopefully these FAQs that we've heard from clients, people we talk to, brides, grooms, guests, have been helpful to you. If you have any other questions, feel free to contact me at jack@vacationies, and thank you for watching my videos.